main difference between adults and children is not their size, it's not their life experience, it's not their ability to comprehend reality, it's something else. Children have the ability to dream, and then they have the ability to take those dreams and actually see them as reality. We, as adults, pretty much what happens is, as we start going through this educational system that we are all immersed and introduced to pretty much at early age, we start being told, no, 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 this is what reality actually is. Now, this is just your imagination, but this is how things actually look like. You fast forward a couple decades down the road, you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, there is a moment when you realize that life is so boring. And how many times happened to you, you look at kids playing around. Sometimes, even if they have sticks and stones, they're going to imagine that those are the starships flying around, or they're gambling with millions of dollars, or whatever it is. You know, and kids are so excited about it. And for them, it really seems to be real. And you wish, like, oh, I remember those days. Those were the good days when I was able to dream. And then we start asking ourselves, okay, wait, so did I lose the ability to dream and that shrinked my life to what it is right now? Or these children over here, the ability to dream is actually deceiving them into thinking that life is much grander than it really is. This is a big problem in our society. And the problem pretty much revolves around the mental illness epidemics that we have. When you talk to people, especially to young people, meaning like people in their 30s, people in their 20s, millennials and Zoomers, you see that they are very disenchanted altogether with life. They have almost no hope. They're like, what am I supposed to look forward to? Millennials have that joke. We already experienced the end of the world like 3 times by now. How much worse can it get? And the problem that we are facing is that it seems that broader and broader number of people around us don't really want to be around. Or if they are around, they are like bummed out with that. There's that kid who sued his parents for being born because now he has to live a life. And sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. He was pretty serious about it, and the lawsuit was legit. So we live in a world that seems to be designed to keep us in a very small box, on a very short pattern, in which we are just going to work, reproduce, and die. That's all that we are expected to do. And everything outside of that is extravagant, is silly, it's ridiculous, and so on. Now, the tides are changing and people are thinking differently about life, but still, vast majority of our educational system and our, let's say, family upbringing, as much as we still have it in this country, is still geared towards an idea that if you want to be a good citizen, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to create a future that is going to make sense and it's going to be like grandiose and big, you have to follow these steps. You have to go to school, you have to graduate, you have to get a job, you have to get a family, you have to buy a house, you have to be in debt, and so on. And that is like a normal thing to do. And that sucks. Like, that idea of life is really boring. And looking back at the 80s, when I was a kid, and early 90s, no. Ability to dream is something that God gave us, something that we are entitled to. Ability to dream and create this life into something more than we are just told it is real. If we are willing to allow God to show us how to do that. That's what I would like us to talk about today. That's what I would like to challenge right now in you. When you guys think about how do you perceive your everyday life, what do you expect out of a week that is coming? I want you to challenge these things as we go through these biblical stories and these lessons, and I really want you to ask yourself, am I really living a life that is worthy of living? And if I'm not, why wouldn't I? My name is Pastor Milos. I'm the pastor in the Arvada Adventist Church, been here forever, since the dawn of the century. Working with Pastor Gordon, he's been here even longer. We have a beautiful, vibrant, nice church filled up with people who work in this community, who are making a difference in this world, both locally and worldwide. And we would like to invite you to come and visit us and join us. Not on Sundays, on Saturday mornings we worship. Check out our website for more information. But you know what? Worship God wherever you are. Worship Him however you know. But worship God. Connect to Him. He is the one who can make your life so much grander than whatever you have right now. Without further ado, let's get into the Bible. So, how can we make life to be an adventure? How can we make a life that is seemingly predictable and boring and standard into something that is so much more fun, into something that you will look forward to every morning when you get up, into something that you will be laughing about and rejoicing every evening before you go to bed? So, a couple of lessons from the Bible, a couple of lessons from the biblical characters that's going to tell us, give us a little bit of a glimpse of what can you do to make your life be really exciting. Let's start with Abraham. Abraham, Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 to 4. Excuse me. Now the Lord said to Abram, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you, and I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. So Abram went, as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Crazy story. It seems very simple. It seems very like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. So God told Abram to pack up his stuff and go, and he just decided to go. But think about Abram for a moment. Like, he had everything figured out. So what the Bible says, he was 75 years old. So he lived to 180. So let's say he was in his late 20s at the time. If we want to compare it to like today's timeline, how we live. So he is a kid in his late 20s, and he's established. He is married. He lives in his hometown. His family is there. His mom and dad, his nephews, and everybody's around. He is well off, what he inherited, what he made, but he is pretty set, you know. Why fix what's not broken? And then God tells him, okay, Abraham, come here. I want you to, well, how to put it, leave all of this behind. And Abram is like, okay. None of us would ever do that. I dare, like maybe a few people would, but think about it. You have a mortgage, you have car payments, you have kids in preschool, and then some are already taking like elementary classes, and they are in extracurricular activities. They have soccer practices. You are getting ready to ask for a promotion. Your spouse is probably thinking about another kid or whatever it is. But anyways, you're established, you're solid, you're good in your neighborhood, you like it. And then suddenly you get the message, okay, leave everything behind. The problem that we have in our society, we are afraid of embracing unknown. We are afraid of doing things out of the ordinary. And that is the first lesson that we can learn from Abraham. Be willing to embrace unknown. Be willing to do things out of the ordinary. Be willing to experiment with life. Yeah, it's easier this way. The line of least resistance is always going to be, well, pretty much I already have this done. Why would I now change that? But here's the thing. Bible doesn't tell us much background. What was on Abraham's mind before or after and so on. It just tells that he not that he just picked up his stuff and left without even knowing where. Even cool. It seems that he was so excited about the move that Lot, who is his cousin, obviously younger than him, was like, I want to go with you. Can I go with you? Abraham, can I go with you? And he's like, yeah, sure, come on. So we feel that anytime our life is being pushed out of like the gears that we are used to, that something is wrong. Change that attitude. Anytime things go sideways, instead of seeking to just push things back into the mainstream, look at the sideways opportunity, not the sideways problem. Ask yourself, okay, Lord, I've been praying for this new job. And now I might get fired from the one that I have. See that as an opportunity. Don't see that as like, oh, Lord, why are you doing this to me? No, please make sure that everything is okay the way it is. No, very often things happen in our lives as an answer to our prayers. But we don't see them that way because we want everything to be ordinary. God never does anything ordinary. God always tosses curveballs. He always has a bag of wrenches to toss it into your plans. And that's the way that He works. That's the way that He does, because He needs us to let go of the ordinary in order for Him to be able to create extraordinary in our lives. Lesson number 2, let's talk about Moses. Exodus chapter 3, verses 10 to 12. Come, I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, my children of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, wait, who am I that I should go to the Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, but I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. And this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. Now, Moses is asking a very silly question over here. We know the story of Moses. We don't have to go into it. So he's tending the sheep. He sees this burning bush that is apparently burning, but it's not burning up. So he walks over there and he hears the voice. Moses, this is holy ground. And God starts talking to him. And God tells him, okay, this is the deal. I need you to do a job for me. I want you to go back to Egypt. You spent 40 years over there in Egypt. You know the culture. You know the court. You know the politics. You know all of the rules and rights and everything else. You know the people. I want you to go back over there. I want you to get my people out. And Moses is asking the question, like, wait, who am I? Even though he was obviously a perfect choice for that. But the problem with Moses was 40 years, first 40 years of his life, he was on the Pharaoh's court. He was trained and educated, and he was like a potentially new Pharaoh until he lost his temper, he killed an Egyptian, he had to run away. Now, next 40 years of his life, what happens to him? He spends next 40 years in the desert tending the sheep. At this point, he is 80 years old. He is ready for retirement. His 401k is packed. He needs to start taking stuff out. He's like, okay, I can just relax until I can go back to my forefathers. And then God is like, well, no, I actually have a different plan for you. Moses was not willing to step out. He was arguing God. God tells him, Moses, you're going to go. And Moses is like, wait. I can't, like, I don't speak the language anymore. Like, I didn't speak Egyptian in like 40 years. How am I going to communicate to them? They have no idea what am I going to say. Okay, fine. I'm going to give you your brother. Your brother's going to go with you. But wait. They have this and they have that. And he has like a whole bunch of excuses. And eventually God tells him, you're going to have your staff. You're going to do miracles. God shows him the miracles. He makes a snake. And you remember like the whole story. And then this is the interesting thing. We come to the point where Moses was like, you know what, Lord, just send somebody else. And God is like, okay, we're done. Come on, get up and let's go. We have no more time to waste. God was done with him. But the problem that Moses had, and this is the problem that most of us drag around through the whole lifetime, and we never let it go, and that's why we never really live a life to the fullest. We are not willing to break the status quo. We are not willing to disturb the routines. Yes, it's not a great job, but it pays the bills. Yes, I have to deal with a jerk boss. Yes, other people get promoted before me, even though I've been here longer. Yes, frankly, I hate to be around here. But what am I going to do? You know, what am I going to do? Am I what? I'm supposed to now find another job. What if that doesn't work out? I mean, at least this, I got used to it. You know, I'm fine. I know how to do it. So I'll just suck it up and do it. Millions of people look at life like that. Millions of people look at life like that. But no, you know what? We've been together for like 10 years now. And we keep fighting every single day. And yeah, we tried kind of counseling and everything. It's just not working out. We are like two different worlds, but what am I supposed to do now? You know, leave or do? I can't be on my own. Yeah, just suck it up. You follow my drift. You understand what I'm talking about? Do you relate? It's so much easier for us to decide how much of misery we are willing to tolerate, and then we put a label on it, happiness. You know, instead of actually exploring, like, wait, I am happish. Have you ever been happish in life? So many people are satisfied-ish with their life. So many issues label their jobs, their relationships, their friendships, their hobbies, social interactions, because we are not willing to break status quo. We are not willing to disturb the routines because they're familiar. And that's why Moses struggled. But once he was willing to step out of that, once he was willing to actually says, fine, I'm going to do things differently. Fine, I'm going to find another job. Fine, I'm going to take radical steps to fix this relationship. Fine, I'm going, and so on. Once people are willing to do that, once you are willing to do that, then you're opening the doors for God to actually do things that you were preventing him from doing because you wanted to keep everything within your routines. God does not function well within routines because you give him no room to maneuver. And God can go so much broader and wider and higher and deeper than we can even imagine. But for as long as we have our cute little box with our routines, God's like, okay, my hands are tied. Like there is nothing I can do about it until you are willing to take the step out. Next thing. Oh, this is a disturbing one. This is the one that can make your life crazy and amazing, and God can do some crazy stuff if you decide to do it. So in Matthew, in chapter 4, verses 19 and 20, Jesus runs for the first time in some of his disciples, and this is what he tells them. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." And immediately they left their nets and followed him. Now, how could they just leave their jobs and go follow this weird master? Because they just witnessed a miracle. If you read the story, you will see what did Jesus say. Jesus comes to Peter and he tells him, Peter, how's the catch? And Peter is like seriously, do you want to rub it in? Like we literally all night, we were out there, we didn't catch one fish, nothing, zero. And Jesus is like, you know what? Why don't you try again over there? That looks like a nice spot. Why don't you go over there? Oh, and toss the nets on the right side. And Peter is like, okay, fine. Fine. If you want it, yeah, I guess on your word I'll do it. So they pull this insanely big catch that they needed other boats to come and help them so they wouldn't sink. They come to the shore and Jesus tells them, follow me and I will make you the fishers of men. I have no idea if they knew what that even meant. I have no idea what fishers of what? Like, what are you talking about? Nobody even asked. Nobody even bothered to ask because nobody cared. You know why? Because they just experienced that their hard labor all night long produced no fruit, and then one toss on the word of this man pretty much saved all of their families for who knows how long. The hardest thing for us to do in our lives is to leave our comfort zone. The hardest thing for us to do is to step away from the safety nets that we built around us. All of us have these safety nets that we live within that makes our life very comfortable. You know, you're very comfortable when you go out with your friends that you know, and you go to Chili's and you have some crazy time with onion rings and whatnot, but then somebody invites you to a stock show, and you know that's going to be louder, there's going to be many more people, and it's going to be different, there might be guns there, and you feel uncomfortable. That's not really my crowd. And then on top of it, the friend tells you, well, I have some of my friends coming over and family, you don't know them, but you'll meet them over there. And suddenly, this does not seem to be fun at all. Because your safety nets are being pushed aside. You might have to meet new people. You might have to go to a new place. You might be introduced into some new experience. And you're like, you know what? I think I'll be busy that weekend. I won't be able to. Why? Because the problem is not that you will not be busy, you just lied. But the reason you did that is to protect yourself. The most logical things for these students of Jesus, at a time fishermen would be like what? To leave this? Are you crazy? Like, I really appreciate this catch, this is awesome, but I can't leave this behind. I still have, this is going to work well for a few weeks, but I still need to feed my family afterwards. I still need to think about blah, blah, blah. I still need to keep my safety nets around me. And Jesus is saying, no, I just showed you that I can take care of you. Why would you be concerned with that? Come on, step out of your comfort zone. And I'm telling you guys the same. You have to step out of your comfort zone. Whether it's social, whether it's financial, whether it's relational, whether it's personal. A lot of times we don't step out of our personal comfort zones. Like, for example, I'm an introvert. You know, I just like sitting at home and I like reading books, I like playing video games. I don't like connecting to people. That might or might not be true. But you created still a version of yourself that is like that. And you can always say to yourself, you know what? I don't have to be an introvert. Yes, I will be deeply uncomfortable and probably awkward speaking to people and everything. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want God to do something different in my life. I want to experience something more in my life. I have to do something else somewhere else. And then God looks at you and he's like, finally, come on, do something else. Do something different. Start easy. Go to a different coffee shop. than the one that you usually go to. Call some friends you didn't call in a long time, because it's much easier to call these friends that are close by. Take a trip instead of sitting at home on your day off. Take a day trip to wherever. Just sit down and drive, and then go and sit and try to meet somebody. I challenge yourself with the things you know you are uncomfortable with. Wait, why would I do that? Why would I make myself uncomfortable? Because if you don't, you will never grow. That's number one. Number two, if you don't challenge yourself and put yourself in uncomfortable situations to experience things that you think are uncomfortable, you will never allow God to expand your life experience. And you might find out that the things that you labeled as uncomfortable, undesirable, I don't think I would like that, I don't think I would like that, you might turn out liking them. Just because you had one bad experience 5 years ago doesn't mean it would be bad today as well. The whole point, my dear friends, is that you keep preventing God from making your ordinary life into an extraordinary very simply by preserving this little thing that you call a box. And you preserve it pretty much, let's recapture that real quick. You preserve it by avoiding the unknown and not doing things out of the ordinary. So change. Embrace the unknown. Start doing things out of the ordinary. Break status quo. Disturb your routines. Yes, other people will get disturbed around you, but that's fine. That'll be fine. Nobody ever died from a disturbed routine, unless it's a medication routine. Be careful with those. Don't do those. Leave your comfort zone. Leave your comfort zone. Step out away from your safety nets. Experiment. Experiment today with your life, with the opportunities you have. Ask yourself, can I do something differently to serve you today? Can I do something differently to serve this world? Can I do just generally something differently? And then think about all of the bad ideas and start with the worst one. Life happens only once. Make it a ride with God and let Him steer around, and He will make it a blast. God bless you.